on to the next slide from here. Well, so to give you a crisp idea, a summarized view of the different features that are there, this is a small image that I found on Wikipedia that gives you a summarized idea of what are the different features that are being supported by the different browsers across. So let's say web forms, for example. So web forms is again another feature implemented by HTML5, which is supported as of now only in Opera, and neither does Chrome nor Firefox nor IE. Neither of these three widely used browsers have still been able to implement or are still in the process of implementing the web forms. Similarly, if you go for Canvas, which is used for 2D or 3D pictures or images or paintings on your particular web page, the Canvas feature is implemented widely by Chrome, by Firefox, and by Opera, but not by Internet Explorer. And as you go down the list, you'll find different features that are there. So drag and drop, history, inline editing, messaging, caching, web database, video, audio, geolocation. Okay, well, so we have video here. So video is supported as of now by Chrome. It is supported by Opera, but it is not yet supported by Firefox and by IE. So what that means is, if you are going to develop a particular web page which will be using the video element, you have to make sure that the target audience will be using the Chrome browser, or you'll have to again go with workarounds where you'll have to have fallbacks for your code, where if it is not supported by your browser, then you'll have other piece of code to render to that particular use case. So similarly, you have different sorts of these are different APIs that are being implemented in HTML5, and the different browsers that support them and to what extent. So moving on. Okay, so today's session will primarily concentrate on two different aspects of the HTML5 features that are most widely implemented, that are most widely used, and to some extent, I personally find them pretty interesting from the security perspective, and also from the perspective of implementation. So one would be communication APIs, where we'll be talking about CORS, or cross-origin resource sharing, and web messaging. And the second would be storage APIs. So there would be primarily concentrating on local storage. So there are other forms as well, like session storage, but we'll primarily concentrate on local storage. And given the time consideration, we'll try to see whatever we can in the given time duration. So I've got a couple of demos as well, and I'll see to what all demos I can use to make get a better feel of the technology. So let's move further with the slides. Well, so before we move further, and before we actually get into understanding CORS, which is what we'll be starting with, we would want to have a better understanding of what exactly domains are, and so that we understand, where does CORS actually come into picture? Where exactly does HTML5 fit in? And why is security again needed at the end of the day for using the CORS feature? So coming back to domains. So we all know what domains are. So we all know the different huge big names, Facebook.com, PayPal.com, we know Google.com. So all of these different domains that are there, they're actually, the different names that are there, they're actually domains, right? And we have the DNS to resolve them to numeric IP address values. So this is basically, the domains are the names that humans can remember. They are a representation for actual IP addresses. So there are different terms that we have always come across at some or the other point in our technical world. That is domains, subdomains, and root domains, top level domains. So let's just try and get a better feel of the thing and try and understand what these different terms actually mean. So okay, before we go there, so yeah, I just gave you a very layman explanation of what domains are. Technically speaking, it will be a series of characters and strings that will be separated by dots, and each of those strings between dots will have a specific meaning, and that is what we'll be seeing with an example in our next slide. Okay, so here we go. So let's say, for example, there is a specific entire domain that says career.paypal.com. So what exactly are the different parts of this, if we start dissecting this entire string, what are the different parts and what does it mean? So the right handmost dot that comes up, it is what we call as a root level domain, and the com, that is known as a top level domain. So in career.paypal.com dot, the dot will be root level, the com will be top level domain. So that is where you see org, that is where you see com, that is where you see edu. So these are the different sorts of the top level domains, or that is what we call as the TLDs. And then we have the second level domain. So casually speaking, we do call PayPal as a domain name, but actually, technically speaking, PayPal is the second level domain in the entire domain name hierarchy. So paypal.com dot, PayPal will be the second level domain. Anything that comes to the left of the dot before PayPal, that will be the subdomain. So that is where we see career.paypal.com, that is where we see marketing.paypal.com or anything of that sort. So that will be the subdomain part of the entire domain hierarchy. So that is what exactly a domain would look like, and that is how we understand the different parts of a particular domain string. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, now that we have discussed about the domains, let's get a little deeper into the subject and understand what same origin policy means. What is